On this review, we're going to take a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Shang-Chi movie wave. This is the Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure series. We're looking at Iron Man, Tony Stark AI. So this is a movie series, but we always do get a couple comic book characters inside movie waves. Not always, but most of the times we do. And this time we are getting a Iron Man Tony Stark. And you already know I got to start off the reviews with a comic book figure, and you already know I got to start it off with Iron Man. Here's the side art, which is pretty dope. Got the hologram Tony head on the body. Same thing on the back. Here we take a look at the rest of the wave there with the Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure right there. As you see, 4 movie figures, 2 comic book figures. There's a little read-up on the back that reads, "After a tragic battle, Tony Stark lives on in a digital form as a hologram at the helm of a high-powered robotic suit of armor." So, of course, most of you have probably already typed it already, but if you haven't, the main question here is going to be, how did I obtain this wave? How did I get it? This wave has only been partially announced, first of all. They've only really shown off Civil Warrior and the AI Iron Man. The other movie figures haven't really been officially shown. We haven't even gotten a trailer to the movie. So it's quite interesting how this even came about. So random targets in Indiana have been receiving these in stores, and people have been actually finding them in store. Look it up. There's actually, multiple posts about it. People have been finding this wave in stores at Target. So as of right now, the only sightings have really been in Indiana, which is just the most random thing ever. It's only one state. I don't know if they just got a random shipment, but they've been stocking the shelves. They've been selling. They've been ringing out just fine. So it's pretty odd. These aren't even up for pre-order anywhere, so I can't even recommend a link for you guys to check it out, but I'm sure in the future there will be. So whenever there is, there should be a link below to that pre-order or to that order link where you guys can order yourself a set of this wave. When that becomes available, I'll make it available down below, so just keep checking from time to time. But anyways, I got it from a dude in Indiana. That's pretty much it. He hooked it up, so I appreciate it, and here it is. So here we have Tony Stark. I guess we should say an essence of Tony Stark. That's right. So this is an AI of Tony. It was of course created by Tony Stark himself as a backup just in case his body no longer worked for whatever reason. So this actually plays a big part with Riri Williams, which is actually Ironheart. We are actually getting a figure of Ironheart in the upcoming Iron Man comic book wave, which I'm super stoked. The Ursa Major Build-A-Figure wave. This AI assisted Riri in the creation of her second armor, so it's pretty much having Tony Stark around without actually having the physical version of Tony Stark around. He was genius enough to create this version, just like he created Jarvis. Of course, he did an AI of himself. That's all cool and all, of course, right? But most importantly, a lot of people are probably going to be picking up this figure because of the beautiful, classic yellow and red colors on this figure. Does this not remind you of that original Toy Biz Series 1 Iron Man? Because it does to me. This is our classic colored look for Iron Man, and I'm very stoked for this figure because of the colors they chose. We still get the nice Iron Man buck that we've been getting lately. It is now the standard definitive armor body mold for Iron Man, at least with Hasbro right now. So it's awesome that they finally came up with something that works, and they've been using it and abusing it like crazy, and I have no issues with it because they gave us some pretty awesome Iron Man figures, some of the best that they've produced so far. So from far away, it was kind of difficult to make out the face sculpt, but here it is. It is a translucent blue to kind of create that AI hologram look, and I think it's done as well as you can possibly make it in action figure plastic form. All the details are there. It's got the goatee, the mustache, eyebrows, the eyes, everything sculpted on there. It's very cool. I like it. Definitely not probably the way I'm gonna display him. Most people are gonna display him with the Iron Man helmet on, of course, so we can get that full look of him armored up. But this is still a cool addition. Being a fan of Iron Man, I enjoy all Iron Man releases, and this is definitely one of them. So super stoked. Looks great. I think it's good. I got no issues at all with it. Let's continue on to the chest here. We get the nice sky blue color for the arc reactor, as well as these pieces right there down to the abdominal area. As you can see, it's all the same body mold. That's that 80th anniversary Iron Man, which introduced this body mold in the first place. And that's your up close look at the AI Tony Stark. So let's check out his accessories that he comes with. As you can see here, he comes with a pair of fists attached to the figure already. Our only other option is going to be some open hands with peg holes in them, because you already know what that means. He comes with blast effects. Now these are fixed here, they're not hinged, meaning they're posed always like this. You can see it's just to have him blasting. So these are hinged fists. If you pull this out, the only option you have here is to have it bent like that, like he's blasting away. So he could be hovering, or he could be blasting somebody in the face. Now, peg hole, same blast effects we've been getting for the past couple years. I don't know how long it's been. Really not, not an issue at all here. You can only change a blast effect so much, so I have no issue here. This time we get a nice blue translucent, kind of matches the blue on the face right there. And that's it for accessories for Iron Man himself. He does come with the right leg of Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure. So there's that. Go ahead and take one more good look at the figure full in frame. Totally digging this look right here. So here's our full armored up with the helmet on. Beautiful classic yellow and red Iron Man. The figure is in this very glossy, paint scheme here. It's all molded plastic. Nothing's really painted except for the blue and the arc reactor. I'm not complaining. It's all fine and dandy. Just pointing it out for the review's sake. So we get the glossy yellow, glossy red pretty much overall on the figure. It's very glossy. I don't mind it. It's very metallic-like, at least in my opinion. It's not metallic like the 80th anniversary Iron Man, but it is, it is fine with me. I don't think anyone's going to have an issue with that unless glossiness bothers you. Then you might have an issue. If you prefer it matte finished, then that's not what you're going to get here. But you can see here we get pins, so there's no pinless tech at all. Pins at the knees, pins at the elbows. So, nothing new there. I know we all saw War Machine had the pinless arms, but that's not the case with any of these Iron Mans that have come out in this, this buck here. Alright, head swaps. Yeah, nice tight fit. This is the 80th anniversary Tony Stark head. Fits on just fine. Nice and tight fit. It's not loose. It's not too tight. Gotta use a little force, but it's all good. Looks great. Then here's just one more quick shot of him with the unmasked head, but we got the helmet there in his arms. This kind of makes no sense, but why not? There's Rhodey's head on the Iron Man buck. And one more shot. I'm having a little bit of fun here. Just threw in the War Machine unmasked there from the deluxe release. Looking good. Alright, so articulation is pretty much the same as we're all used to with this Iron Man body mold. So we're going to run through it anyways, though, real quick, since we all know what it comes with. But the head is on a hinge, ball jointed hinge, so he looks up and he looks down. Like that, left and right just fine. We got a little bit of a slight head tilt, which is cool. Arms are going to go all the way around, forward and back, in and out about that far. We have bicep swivels, double jointed elbows, swivel at the wrist. I thought the forearm did, but it does not. I forgot. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge. We have the ab crunch at the torso, waist swivel. Two jointed legs are going to go forward, about that far, in and out, about that far. We have thigh swivels, double jointed knees. We have that boot cut shin swivel with the ankle hinge going forward and back, and then the rocker side to side at the foot right there. And here's a look at him next to the 80th anniversary release of the classic Iron Man. And man, God, they look good. I really enjoy both of these, to be honest. I mean, if you were to ask me which one do I like more, they're both awesome and I want to own them both. This isn't a release that's going to make me want to get rid of this figure. Never. Heck no. But it definitely makes me appreciate both versions, to be honest. This is almost like a variant. I mean, it is a variant of this figure, but they could have easily, gone back throwback style and released this in a wave and then have a running change variant. You guys remember those variants? A lot of people didn't like that because, of course, it makes it rare, hard to find, hard to obtain, but it also makes you feel good when you own a variant version of a figure. But hey, I'm okay with this too. Releasing the figure in another complete wave with a different color scheme, I'm all for it. So whichever way we get these variants, I'm all for it. I'm good. So as you can see, we got a more metallic, darker colored gold. Then we have a classic yellow and red, bright, vibrant red and yellow. And if you guys saw the upcoming Ursa Major wave, we're going to get the stealth version of this armor. So they're really hitting all the variants of this armor, and I'm super excited for it. So here's your side-by-side look of the original 80th release, the one that started it all with this armor next to this AI Tony Stark. Up next, I'm going to throw in the Walgreens exclusive Silver Centurion Iron Man figure, which is also one of my favorites, of course. Looks great, long-awaited release for a updated Silver Centurion. And here we have him next to our new AI Tony Stark figure. Up next, we have the Iron Man 2020, also on that 80th anniversary buck. Got a added on piece there on the torso and on the groin area. And we have a different color scheme once again. So each of these have the same buck, but different color scheme. This one actually had a different face and helmet sculpt. And a lot of people were actually removing this piece and making it kind of look similar to this classic color, but it's not even close. You can see how different they are. And also mentioning, because remember this one had some kind of issue with the backwards bicep. Obviously Hasbro has fixed that with all these other releases of the same body mold, including the AI Tony Stark. That's pretty much it for the Iron Man bucks, but here we have the War Machine buck that we got in the deluxe release this time, you know, with the helmet on. I know I showed him earlier, but here's a full in-frame shot of him next to this AI Tony Stark Iron Man. So far, this is every single Iron Man 80th anniversary body mold release that we've gotten so far. Silver Centurion isn't really, similar to these, but he's got some pieces that are the same, like his legs and arms, and that's about it, to be honest. But I'll throw him in there anyways. You can say that this is the new Hasbro Iron Man releases in the most recent time. So definitely a great set of figures to own. Alright, so this is still Hasbro, but this is kind of going way back in their earlier days. This is kind of their first attempt at a classic Iron Man with the classic colors, kinda. You can see it's got some metallic look to it. It's not flat like the new one that we got right now, but you could definitely see the scale. It's totally different. You could definitely see that a human being is inside an armor here, or at least in this version it's an AI, but in regards to the other releases, it's a human being inside. You could really see that it's an armor, and he's big and he's tall, and he's bulky, compared to this very slim, skinny, little short Iron Man dude here. Here's that same figure, but with the alternate head on. This is the pointy-tipped mask. It came with two head sculpts there, as you can kind of see the two differences there. But that's something we did not get with actually any of our newer releases of Iron Man. We haven't gotten that mask yet. I'm sure we will eventually, though. And still a figure that I still hold near and dear to my heart. This is the Series 1 Toy Biz Classic Iron Man. You can see it's not totally flat color like the new one. It's got some shading in there. It's got some orangey, colory, that's a word, yellow, orangey, colory color for the armor. But you can see, obviously we all know what Toy Biz figures looked like back in the day. You see how the proportions were all over the place and they look kind of wonky sometimes, especially the arms. But it's still a figure I love and I still own, of course, because it's one of my first Iron Man figures I ever bought and ever owned as a kid. So still have it to this day, never will get rid of it. Alright guys, and that's going to conclude my review on the Hasbro Marvel Legends Tony Stark Iron Man AI figure from the Shang-Chi Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure wave. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, show some love down below in the comments, leave a like. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on the figure, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned for more upcoming reviews from this wave. And as always, everyone, have a good one. Bye.
That's crispy.